in Gideon Levy. He's a columnist at Haaretz. He joins us now from Tel Aviv. Gideon, where is public opinion on a potential second ceasefire or some kind of captive deal?
Israelis' public opinion is almost totally recruited in support for continuing the war, no matter what. But in the same time, there is this public desire to see the hostages coming back, and therefore a pause will be accepted by everyone, but only a pause. I don't see Israelis being ready to stop this war, unfortunately so.
Gideon, we heard strong words from Netanyahu today on how this war will be continuing. How does that compare to what President Herzog has been saying?
It's not the first time that the two are different in their views, but finally, I think also President Herzog is not in favor of stopping the war now. As long as the Americans are giving Israel a green light, and they are giving Israel a green light to continue, Israel will continue no matter how many victims are in Gaza, no matter how many children are killed in Gaza, and even no matter how many Israeli soldiers are killed.
You mentioned the US giving a green light. So let me ask you then, would a UN Security Council resolution, if one does get passed, would that make any difference?
First of all, I want to see the United States not putting a veto again. And most probably they will put another veto, and then it's irrelevant. Well, Israel will ignore any resolution of the international community as long as Israel will be able to do so in order to achieve the goals that Israel wants to achieve, which are very vague goals, I must say, and I think that at least part of them are unachievable.
Gideon, just in terms of what's happening at the Security Council, if they do manage to, through all of these delays and all the diplomacy that's going on right now behind closed doors, if they do manage to find some language to agree on and the US doesn't veto a resolution and there is a vote and a resolution is passed, what are the chances that Israel actually abides by that resolution and implements what it requires?
If the resolution will not be accompanied with sanctions, then I think Israel will continue with the war as long as the Americans will not put some concrete measures, actions on Israel, which might change Israel's mind. But as long as it will be only declarations, condemnations, Israel ignored many resolutions of the international community in the past, including resolutions by the Security Council.
Gideon, we've been hearing a lot about the pressure that's been mounting in Israel, particularly on Benjamin Netanyahu. I've been wondering how profound the pressure is right now from the families of captives. He's been meeting with them this week.
Yeah, it's a growing pressure, but I must tell you that I'm surprised to see less public protest. I was expecting, after the killing of the 3 hostages by Israeli soldiers, I was expecting to see tens of thousands of Israelis streaming to the streets with some kind of protest on Saturday evening, for example. This did not happen. I mean, there was a protest, but in much smaller scale. And I'm afraid that, except of the families, obviously the families are totally recruited to fight to get their beloved ones back. That goes without saying. But I'm very afraid that Israeli public opinion becomes a little bit apathetic. Not totally, obviously. Still, everyone wants to see them home. But I don't see a major protest for really putting an end to the war, because this might be the only way to bring all of them back home.
Gideon, perhaps not a protest to bring an end to the war, but I wonder if there's been any kind of shift in understanding how Israel is prosecuting this war. We've spoken about it on air before, about how Israeli media reporting can be markedly different from perhaps what you were seeing on our screens. And I'm wondering if, knowing that people who are waving white flags, Israelis who are holding white flags, that they were shot, has that changed any kind of views about how this war has been conducted?
I wish, but totally not. Israelis see it as an accident, as a very serious accident, but they don't see the meaning of it. And the meaning of it is that Israel is killing systematically innocent people deliberately, including those who have white flags in their hands. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, 3 of them were Israelis. But this just shows the way that the army is operating in Gaza and many times also in the West Bank, by the way. So the killing of innocent people continues and will continue. And unfortunately, Israelis don't draw the conclusions out of all those incidents. There's always an explanation and justification and this belief that those are exceptional cases and it will never happen again. And it's again the rules of the army, the directions of the army. It's not so, but Israelis many times live in denial.
Gideon Levy there, a columnist at Haaretz, speaking to us from Tel Aviv. Thanks for joining us, Gideon. It was really great to get your thoughts.
Thank you for having me.